Hi, welcome. Today on Mama Cooks Love, we are going to celebrate the spring with the most famous spring soup, cream of asparagus soup. To make this soup, we are going to need a bunch of asparagus, half a white onion, 2 small potatoes, a cup and a half of cream, and 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter, salt and pepper to taste. So we're gonna trim the asparagus. The easiest way to do it is you hold the asparagus and you break it. Where it naturally breaks, that's where you're gonna cut it. Now we're gonna save those ends. I have some water boiling here. I have about 4 cups of water boiling. We're gonna blanch the ends, and with that, we're gonna make the most delicious broth to make our soup. All right, so I'm about to trim the rest. I'm just gonna do one more. Here we go. See, this is the part that it's woodsy and you don't wanna eat. This is the delicious part. Now, I'm just gonna put them all together like that. Make sure they line up. And voila. Now, I'm gonna drop those guys into the hot water so they can make the broth as I chop the other vegetables to make the soup. I like to save some of the tops, so when I serve the soup, I leave those to the very last minute and I just put them on top of the plate, or I can even put them on top of the bowl. So just a few, I will save the tops. The rest will go in. Now, the rest, I'm just cut together like that. My asparagus is cut up. I will cut up my onion. Doesn't matter how big they're gonna get because we will be blending everything together. Into the pot, some of my butter. I'm gonna leave a little bit to do at the end in case it needs to be a little bit more buttery, more emulsified. As the onions are cooking, we'll peel and cut up the potatoes. So the onions are sauteing in the butter. We're gonna keep cooking them until they are translucent. You could see a little bit through them. I'm gonna hit that with salt to speed up the cooking process. It would make them sweat and we'll get rid of any burning that might happen. And then some black pepper. And while these guys cook, I'm gonna go ahead and peel and chop my potatoes. I wish you could smell that. Nothing better than onions cooking in butter. And Mama cooks with love. This is the smell of love. The onions are cooking on medium high. It's been about 2 minutes and they're starting to smell so delicious and fragrant. The whole neighborhood smells of cooking onions. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and chop the potatoes so we can cook them. I like to cook the potatoes until they are golden brown and delicious. It's one of my favorite ways of describing things when they're sauteing and getting that yummy caramelization and that color, because honestly, color equals flavor, always. All right, into the pot goes. We're pretty much done with all the chopping. From now on, it's just about mixing and cooking and letting things take their sweet time. Potatoes should be cooking for about 5 to 7 minutes before they can get to that really delicious point. I like to season as I go with every phase of my cooking so things don't taste that you just dump salt and pepper at the very last minute. Stir it some more. Now I'm gonna check on that asparagus broth. The broth has been cooking for about 10-15 minutes. And it looks like this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to strain it. I took the asparagus ends out of the water, and this is what I'm left with. A really nice looking asparagus broth. My potatoes are getting golden brown and delicious. It's been about 5 minutes on the potatoes. They have really beautiful color, as you could see. Look at that. Yeah. So I'm going to add the water. As I said, I have 4 cups of water here. For the asparagus to retain their beautiful bright green color, I like to add them once the potatoes are completely cooked. So they could barely blanch for a little bit, and then we blend them. They stay beautifully bright green, and we'll hit them with the cream at the very last minutes. All right, friends, it's been about 7 minutes. And this should be done. By the way, I had to add a couple more cups of water because the 4 cups weren't enough. So in total, I've needed 6 cups of liquid so far. Look at the potato. I already checked it out. It's ready. The best way to do it is grab a fork. If it goes through easily, your potato is cooked. Let's get those asparagus in. Now we're gonna cover it again and let that cook and hang out for about, I wanna say another 5 minutes. All right, friends, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's check on those asparagus. They look perfect. Now we're just gonna have to blend. So I'm gonna turn it off while I blend, and then we'll blend, adjust the seasoning, and add the cream. All right, now that our soup is completely blended, I turned it off, by the way. It's still bubbling because it's the hot plate. I'm gonna add my heavy cream. It looks so delicious. I can't wait to try it. I'm gonna try the seasoning for you. For me too. It needs a little bit salt. Perfect. And now, remember those tops that I told you about? We're gonna reserve this. You'll see. You serve your soup, and you do this on top. A little bit of, here we go. And now, the moment of truth. I'm going to taste it for you. So delicious. Classic, creamy, springy. Oh my goodness. I can taste every single ingredient. I really can taste the spring. Now friends, if you have children who don't like any textures, feel free to blend this in your regular blender. The immersion blender does not blend as well as the regular blender. And if you like to strain it, go for it. My family likes to chew on the chunks and the textures in the soup. So delicious. Please let me know how you like it. Cook it, comment, subscribe, and please like and let me know if you have any questions. Mama Cooks Love with love, light, and blessings.